Based on the way that I dress and the title of this video blog, it's pretty obvious I'm a baseball fan. And it would make sense to talk about baseball in an episode. So I will in this episode, with a friend of mine. And today we'll discuss something that I think that a lot of people in sports are talking about nowadays. The fact that baseball could possibly be dying. Do you think that baseball is dying?
Absolutely. There's no question about it.
In what ways is it dying?
If you go on TV, watch any sports channel, baseball is always the bottom of the list. When the show starts, football, basketball, maybe baseball. And if they go over a game, maybe they go over like 2 highlights when the game is full of plays. I think hockey's lower than baseball.
Yeah, hockey's still lower than baseball.
But considering baseball really is the American pastime, it's completely ignored.
Last year's World Series with the Rangers and Cardinals was
amazing.
Like the best World Series of all time. You would think that would translate into 2012, but not really.
It really hasn't.
So it makes me wonder, because I feel like the NBA is going to thrive beyond LeBron. What is causing baseball to die?
First of all, I think most of the other games like football, basketball, for most regular people, it's a lot easier to watch those games. Mm-hmm. It's more straightforward. Mm-hmm. Whereas baseball, there's so many aspects to the game that if you grab anybody on the street and they don't really watch baseball, to them it's all it is a pitcher holding the ball, waiting forever, throwing a pitch, wait forever. Yeah. Maybe they'll hit it, probably won't.
Yeah.
Because baseball is more about failure than success.
Yeah. When do you think that baseball lost its edge? Like what time period, what decade? Is it recent, or has it been like declining for the past 30 years?
Well, I don't know, for the past 20 years maybe?
20 years?
Like in the 90s, that's when it started to slow down.
What about the Yankee dynasty? I mean, the Yankee dynasty definitely fueled.
I think that definitely changed a lot of it.
Yeah.
To be honest, because when a sport has teams winning, like, it changes every year. There's more fans into it. Yeah. There's a lot more variety. The Yankee dynasty, I loved it because I'm a Yankee fan. But to other fans, like, Yankees again. Yeah. Yankees again. Yankees in the ALCS. Yankees win the most games this season. Yankees in the World Series again. Yeah. It gets boring for some people. Like, forget it.
But I think that baseball is heavily reliant on certain teams getting into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Specifically East Coast teams. Like, ALCS Yankees Red Sox there's no second to that in terms of ratings. There's no other matchup that's going to have nearly as high ratings as Yankees Red Sox. And I think that to a certain degree, it's going to come down to how many times, like baseball survival comes down to how many times the Yankees win the World Series, how many times they face the Red Sox. So people complain about it, but then if you see, upstart teams like Milwaukee making it, Tampa Bay making it, nobody gives a shit. And it's not fair, but
it really isn't, because a lot of fans don't give these other teams a chance.
Yeah.
They're like, as soon as the big guys are out, then it's not worth watching. Even though they obviously should be paying attention because it's the playoffs, so the best teams are there. Yeah. If the Yankees are out, that obviously means a better team beat them, so they should be watched.
What adjustments does baseball need in order to become, one of the main sports? I mean, it's still a main sport now, but what does it need to become, get back on top?
Well, for one, it definitely has to have, baseball needs to have a replay. It needs instant replay. It really does. So many calls this year alone where all you do is stare at the umpire and go, the hell were you looking at?
And it's so easy too. We have the technology. All you need is a 5th umpire in the booth. I mean, you see the announcers look at a play, 30 seconds later, see that the call was clearly blown. I mean, people complain how it's just, oh, well, it's going to take too much time. And then this is the excuse I love. There's a human element in the game. No, there's not. The human element was in the game in 1900 when there was no technology available. The technology wasn't available to, look at a call and see if it was actually blown. That's why we had the human element. It was necessary.
To add to that, to further, the human element of the sport is the actual bat and the ball hitting each other, the catching, the running, the fielding, all the things that go on the side. The result needs to be reviewed sometimes. Santana did not get a no-hitter.
No.
That was clearly a fair ball. The chalk went up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that he got it and the Mets finally got their no-hitter, but asterisk.
Yeah, it's an asterisk.
Definitely. The play with Todd Helton at first base, 3 feet off the bag, not even close, and he was called out when he caught the ball.
That's not the first time that's happened either.
That happens a lot too. And the umpire's staring right at the play.
And it happens more in the postseason too. I mean, and then going back a couple years ago.
Too many times.
What was his name? Armando Galarraga. Perfect game blown. It's a perfect. There are 23 perfect games. I don't know why we consider it still 22. Just because the call was blown, then it doesn't make it perfect. That's not the pitcher's fault. Do you think that baseball will see past the 21st century?
I think baseball will only stay alive in those who really love baseball. And the way it's going, it doesn't look too bright. Because football and basketball those are two sports that are so easy to market. Anything can be marketed with them. Food, beer, clothes, movies, anything with them. Yeah. Baseball is so much harder to do that. The 90s, we had like a few commercials that were so damn good, the baseball players in their prime. Now we barely get any. Like the last one I saw was with Justin Verlander for aspirin.
Do you think that baseball could ever become the most popular sport in the U.S. again?
I hate to say it, but I really don't think so.
Why not?
As long as we have the NFL, I really don't see baseball going over that hump. It's so much easier for a person to get integrated into the world of football. Like from an outside perspective, it's easier for somebody to watch one season of football, where it's a game a week for a few months, compared to baseball, where you got to watch 162, not including the postseason. Yeah,
not including the postseason. So, and I mean, another thing is that just to prove that point, you got the end of the season for baseball, the playoff race, coinciding with the beginning of the NFL season, and that gets pushed aside for the beginning of the season for the NFL. When the game, if there's any games that matter the least, it's those. So,
just that fact that the early season games for NFL supersede the playoffs of baseball is really telling. Yeah. In terms of how hard baseball would have to improve itself to overcome football.
We can survive, though. I mean, I think it's a part of American culture in a way, so is the American pastime. But we got a long road ahead. Is there anything else you want to add?
Fuck Boston.